edition of The Pitch. My name is Ernest. Last week we were talking about after launching your business, what is next? And I engaged Mr. Emmanuel Larbi. Today we are continuing from where we stopped. We talked about how to scale your business, maybe market research, a lot of things you need to do before launching your business, and after launching it, how to make it sustainable. Today we're going to be looking at managing challenges within your business. You start your business, you launched it, you're working, doing things, you've started most of the things right, but you hit some challenges. How do you manage them? How do you overcome them? But before then, I'd like to know, who is Emmanuel Larbi? Tell us something about yourself.
Thank you so much, Ernest, for having me. I think we know ourselves very well, but for our viewers, a lot of people don't know me.
Sure.
And I'm not as popular as Despite, but I'm a young entrepreneur, going through the same challenges every other entrepreneur is going through. I've been able to navigate a couple of them, but it's not as easy as said.
Yeah.
I am a telecommunications and business consultant.
Okay.
So for telecommunication companies, I develop research and development based or research based solutions to be able to manage or ride on the current information technology advanced world we are in.
Okay.
So I work with a couple of companies that work with major telcos or mobile network providers on solutions.
Okay.
So for example, you have a home that has a TV, a flat screen, but cannot enjoy Netflix.
Okay.
I have a solution that helps you enjoy the Netflix.
Wow.
It's called an Android TV box.
Okay.
You can enjoy all your social media apps now on your TV.
Wow.
So you don't need to watch the small phone screen anymore.
I
That's
see.
one of the things. I also do, on the same telecom space, internet service for homes and offices alike.
Yeah.
And then smart home solutions, where you basically have your lights, your air conditioning, your power systems, your TV, your fridge, everything in one app, controlled by the app.
Wow.
So that's basically what I do on the telecom.
I think I will need that service.
But for the businesses, we actually consult right from idea stage to compliance and profit making stages. So whether it is recruitment or it is corporate training or it is managing profits and optimizing resources, you have us there. Every business needs that business coach to help in the industry. We do very detailed business papers, business plans, proposals, pitch decks for specific purposes. So that's basically what I do.
Wow.
We have several companies for that. On the telecom space, we have Stake on It Africa and then Hey Time Africa. And then on the business stage, we have True Capital Global Advisors and then a couple of other companies. Like I told you last, the Africa Scale Up Academy is a project that has True Capital Global Advisors. It has KIA Startup Consult and it has Hey Time Africa as partners coming out with this project to allow thousands of African entrepreneurs meet at one place and then indulge in connectivities and solutions and partnerships and collaborations just for the end user.
This is interesting. Wow. So you have it all. That is Emmanuel Larbi. Today, last week, I told you what we were talking about, and if you had the opportunity to watch, if you didn't, you can go to our YouTube channel at Truth TV, or maybe on Facebook, and you can type just Truth TV. You have videos, previous videos, and you can watch and then be on the same stage with us. Today, we want to be looking at managing a business, sustaining a business. Maybe I have launched my business. I have some challenges within the period. How do I manage challenges to keep my business moving?
Well, I think I would want to start by saying that there are specific challenges. Maybe we want to go into a few of the challenges one by one. However, challenges are synonymous with businesses. They are not different. In fact, even if you don't do anything at all, there will be a challenge. So not taking a decision is also a decision.
Yes, sir.
So once you start an endeavor, a business, challenges are part of the business. you need to understand that as an entrepreneur, a startup business, or as a corporate institution, that challenges are part of the business. How you navigate them will depend on the severity, the nature of the challenge. One of the challenges I have heard a lot of people say is access to resources. So they actually relate it to structures and government institutions. Funding for me is secondary. Once you put the right structures like we discussed last year, getting funding is easy. There is a funding opportunity called bootstrapping, which gives you the opportunity to actually find your own ways and means to support or find the investment. So you can actually do your savings. You need to do it yourself. So even if you have to take 5 years before you bring your business to the limelight, so be it. Bootstrap it. Start it yourself. Start and make sure you go to that level. The challenges in businesses, like I was referring to on resources, is mostly related to government and principles. In Ghana, for example, in the past, say 6-7 years, we have had Ministry of Business Development, and we have had localized business resource centers. But how many of us know about these people? We have had, just yesterday I was looking through Ghana Enterprises Agency. Nice stuff.
The Youth Start program.
Youth Start programs, a lot of them. The resources are on one side, in my opinion, and then the people who need them are on the other side. The challenge we have there is how to find the resources, or how to find the people who need the resources. If not so, the idea of nepotism always would win. However, we are not doing Pan-Africanism. So we need to understand that resource is needed. And once we don't have it and it's a challenge, we need to sit around the table and discuss how to find it. I think that sometimes the resource is close to us and we don't get to actually look for them. For example, you are in a home and a typical home has challenges that you can actually maybe pick and insert into the business. If there is a way you solved that challenge in a home, you can solve it in a business environment. It's key to understand that scarcity of every unique item we need in a business would always be there. However, if you're able to find resources, so these resources, money, human, and everything, in the home to solve a problem, you can actually find it also
in
the business.
Research
is key. Research. Those of us who don't read, who don't like to learn, who don't like to ask questions, will lose out on solving that particular challenge of resources, because you will need to research, you will need to learn, you need to expand your understanding on a subject before you identify where you can get the solution. If you don't research, there are things, there's a reason why we call the word discovered. There are things that are covered that you need to uncover or discover. So research is key in identifying some of them. But I think that we can talk about specific challenges and then from the examples we give solutions, in my opinion, to them.
Wow. This has been interesting. So the pitch seeks to identify smart business ideas, link them to investors and markets. And I've been doing this with Emmanuel Larbi. We're going for a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at doing business in Ghana, given some of these current challenges we have, and then we'll be trying to suggest some solutions to them. We're right back after this break. A key concern for entrepreneurs is ensuring there is sufficient inflow of cash, especially at the early stage of their business, where there is low sales revenue. Investors in this regard have become the only point of contact. However, investors do not just put in money in businesses. They do so based on a tall list of considerations. My name is Ernest Downey, and I welcome you to The Pitch, where we discover and connect smart business ideas with investors and markets. The Pitch, shows this and every Wednesday on Truth TV at 8 p.m. Thank you. All right, so you're welcome back to the pitch. My name is Ernest Dauni, and you're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Truth TV. You can check us out. If you've missed our previous videos, just go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, so that every time when we have the show, you can have an alert and you can go and watch us. If you want to support this show, you can call on 02473983331. It is about youth capacity building, creativity, innovation, and then empowering people to start a business. But in the studio today, I've been talking with Emmanuel Larbi, who's a business coach, an investor, and a consultant. We are looking at starting a business or managing a business in Ghana, given the current economic challenges, especially the aftermath of COVID. What are some of the things that businesses must take care of?
Okay, thank you. I think we need to understand that COVID has really been a necessary evil. So I have had businesses pre-COVID that
were doing
suffered. They were doing very well, but they suffered when COVID came, especially during lockdown. Right.
Yeah.
So doing business in Ghana, you have a lot of external shocks. I mean, if the government of Ghana is currently suffering from COVID aftermath and Ukraine war, as per the narrative, and you would have to go back to the IMF for support. It means that smaller businesses like us are not
that's very serious,
exempted from that.
Yeah.
So doing business in Ghana actually requires some level of robustfulness. We need to be a bit robust, more determined. And this is not just the rhetoric. It's not the rhetoric of basically talking about the fact that you're a young man, you should be determined and you should be focused and you should be hardworking. No.
It goes beyond that.
It is important to have shocks, shock absorbers.
Okay.
Right? You need to be able to absorb shock as and when they come.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we need to now start learning about waves. Waves that brings businesses down.
Okay.
COVID-19 is
a
classical example.
Start learning about the waves that bring
so,
business
like
down.
I told you from the beginning, a business has a life cycle.
Yeah.
And that life cycle will be faced with a couple of things.
Okay.
So doing business in Ghana, you need to take into account what is possible happening to affect your company or your startup or your business. And that is one of the areas I think we should look at.
Okay.
I have an idea. So before COVID, one business, Stay Connect Africa, was going to launch a public Wi-Fi network in Ghana, right? And the network was supposed to house a community of smart devices, i.e. laptop, phones. When COVID hit and went on lockdown, to even go and deploy the network was a difficult thing, right?
Yeah.
And once you deploy, you will not have easy access to customers to be able to sign them on.
Okay.
And there are a number of things that are monthly recurring charges that you pay as soon as your network is on the ground, right? So it's important that we are known that this is how lockdowns look like.
Yeah.
This is how solutions are affected by lockdowns.
You would have planned about it.
And maybe even planned our launching to an earlier time, be popular before COVID hit. And COVID will also not inform you
that is about hitting.
COVID is just like any other challenge in any business.
Yeah.
If you are not self-aware, it will come to you unprepared.
Sure.
Right? So it's important that we understand that there are shocks and we need to absorb them.
When they come.
How do you absorb them? Like I said, predictability.
Okay.
You need to predict them. You need to predict how you will respond when it comes. Right?
Yeah.
Number two, I think that you need to actually build a team around fairness.
Okay.
So there are people who give you offers. I used to have some very great sales staff.
Okay.
Right. So business was nice. We're moving ahead. We're cool. So they were getting a salary.
Yeah.
Right. But there was no discussion of in case of any eventuality, what do we do? So number two is when you have a team working with, you need to have that discussion.
Okay.
Have some clauses in the agreement you sign that in case of X, we all take this, especially if you're a startup. So it's also important that you bring people on board more like owners or sub owners. It doesn't hurt to have somebody share
your business,
10% of your business, and commit and dedicate more resources to make sure it's tight. I mean, what is the essence? I have a friend, Isa Afugu. He would tell you that 10% of 1 million is better than 100% of 5,000.
5,000.
Right?
Definitely.
So for the partner or the team worker or the staff, once there is a level of ownership and there is no innocentrism or selfishness, that person is able to actually follow you through the end. So doing business in Ghana, you need to actually be open-minded. You need to be smart enough. You need to predict what could happen. You need to be dedicated to make sure it happens. You need to allow people have share by contributing the requisite skills and resources to ensure that we grow together, which is difficult. So I have people like, we sit back and we watch the Mark Zuckerbergs of our time, the Facebook guys, the Meta guys, and we see Mark. He goes to defend himself like the TikTok guy in the US, data privacy and stuff. But they make an approximate 100 million every hour from advertisement. These people you see are not the only owners of the company.
Definitely.
The Teslas and the Microsoft, the Bill Gates and the Elon Musk are the faces, and they are the majority shareholders. Most of the time, there are a lot of people in the background
behind the scenes,
and they make sure it runs. You understand?
Mm.
So it's important to have that kind of balance so that the shock is shared, the risk is shared, the reward is shared. That's my opinion. My opinion is that doing business in Africa and Ghana, where we come from, is as difficult as hell, but also as easy when we commit some few things. It's not enough being called a CEO. It's better that there are people to learn from who contribute, especially those who actually bring the devil's advocate opinions to your business. They matter a lot. So yes, that's basically my opinion. I don't want to go the traditional way of doing business in Ghana with a book knowledge. No, I think that there are a couple of things we need to do in Ghana, in Africa, to make sure we achieve those things. And like I said, teaming up with people who have same idea, same mind, same thought would help you move.
What is your opinion? What are some of the viable businesses that people can take up in Ghana in our current situation?
I like this one. I really like this one. I think that this is one of the things we are trying to resolve to do at the Africa Scale Up Academy. 5 major industries. Number 1, agric and agro processing.
Agric and agro processing.
It is going to be, and it is already, the most important, if not the all important, that will stand the test of time. Right? Food security is a problem. The entire UN SDGs talks about food security. Food security for Africa, especially during this Ukraine war, where people are predicting a third world war and all that. Food is the way to go.
That's true.
And having food, like we have a solution for palm nut, we have a solution for yam processing. Having food in its raw state is a bit catastrophic. So processing the food to be able to actually have a longer shelf life is also very important. People would always eat, even when
no matter what it is.
When you have the most difficult situations, food is important. And then processed, very balanced food that would last the test of time is important. For example, research shows that the yam that gets out of Ghana to Mexico and the US, by the time they land at the airport, they have 30% of them going back, post-harvest losses, because of the transit time. So they get rotten before you take them off the container, right?
Yeah.
It's same applies to the vegetables, and there is a range between 15
even
to
transport
30%.
from some of our villages into
Exactly.
the cities.
Meanwhile, we have them in abundance.
Yeah.
I was in the north. I saw too much,
of course,
abundance of yam.
Yeah. That one there.
I saw in Agogo, I saw plantain.
Yeah.
I saw it in excess. I saw people walking on plantain.
Yeah.
Seriously speaking, this is literally walking on plantain. Meanwhile, plantain chips are in abundance. But plantain chips alone is not enough. We need to research.
What else?
Professor now is LC Ifa Kaufman, University of Ghana, Biomedical Engineering Sciences. She's done too much work on researches that will lead to some of these things. So food alone, you see how long I've spent on
time
food.
Talking about.
I have not. I'm not done.
Yeah,
I'm not done.
I know.
Farming, local rice against the foreign rice.
Several things. Isn't the topic every day on air?
Then there is a housing.
Yeah.
As of last year, the housing deficit was in excess of 2 million.
That's real estate, right?
Real estate.
Okay.
It's okay. But the existing built houses or the completed houses are also around the same number, but it's quite expensive.
Okay.
Can we have an affordable housing scheme?
Okay.
Can we have a smart solution around housing, around apartment building, around doing more tropical homes, doing more economic friendly homes, where people can still lay their head for little or half the current market rate. A studio apartment in Accra costs not less than $40,000, right? And this is dollar. And how much is a dollar now?
Charlie,
almost 12 cities, 50%. So it's important to understand that the housing deficit needs to be filled with smarter, innovative solutions. It's a business area that a lot of young people can actually come together to do. Then there is energy. We have EVs, electric vehicles, but it's not enough. We need to have other sources of renewable energy. It's not a matter of popularity currently, but it's good to position yourself. Currently in the whole world, an approximate 20%, so 1 out of every 5 cars are basically electric and battery enabled. Right? But beyond that, the energy we consume in the homes, can we have more solar? Can we have more wind? Other than the normal hydro electric energy. So this is another area of interest. Then there is the ITES, Information Technology Enabled Services, an area I am currently in. I've discussed a couple of them with you already. There are enormous benefits, right? The digital marketing you're doing, the gig economy we have right now, the space for connectivity, right? People the virtual work environment now is all enabled by the internet economy. So it's important. I've mentioned 4 already, right? It's important that we know about this thing. Then there is fishing. Right? Fishing can come under farming. Part of our Greek, but it can stand alone, right? Because what is the essence of food without fish or meat, right? So there are areas. There are several other areas that we can explore. The mining area, processing of the resources we generate in here, right? The cocoa powders, the chocolate drinks, everything, even the fruit juices. There are several of them. These are areas I think we can explore.
But then some of these areas are very complicated. Taking, for instance, even the agric area, someone in this area, land, how can they have access to the resources they need for those things, like the lands and all of those things? If you want to go into agric, even the real estate, too expensive. The mining, another thing. Like, how can, let's say, for instance, how can young people venture into those things, given your resources and your knowledge of your level of knowledge?
I think I've shared some of them from the beginning. Partnership, collaboration. People have properties, for example, arable lands, in their custody. The chiefs, right? Those who actually sell these lands, right?
Yeah.
How about we give them an option to have a 30%, 20%, 10% stake, so that we don't have to spend money in buying the land.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have a farm and have a very good business plan that details everything with the projections, the cash flows, presenting this to these people, and have an agreement on marrying resources, so that you will not have to go look for money. Assuming you have $1 million and you want to establish a real estate chain, $1 million can do little after you finish buying land. But once you have the land, the $1 million can actually build a number of chalets or apartments.
Yeah, you can start.
Right. Assuming you have 100 people bringing 1,000 cedis each, that's 100,000 cedis. Bringing 10,000 cedis, that's 1,000,000 Ghana cedis. So partnership and collaboration is as essential as the resources we need. Because then a pool of these people and these resources will help us achieve the dream. What we have as a downside of this is that people do not have the skills. People are selfish. So it cannot contribute anything apart from money. Apart from his presence. And he also will not accept that we need to weigh, value, or do evaluation of how much what you bring on board is equal to in terms of share issue.
So I think that talking about partnership, that's always been the problem I have. How do you ensure that everything is fair? Because there was a program I attended at HCC at the auditorium, and a lecturer asked the question about, say I have an idea and I think that I want to share with some people. I want us to come together, work on it. You share with them, and the next day you see that they are doing it in another way. And how do we manage that?
I think there are two ways.
There
are two, in my opinion. There may be several, but my opinion is that, so first of all, whoever you share your idea with, there's a legal way to handle it. There's something called NDA or NCNDA. Non-circumvention, non-disclosure agreement. I think depending on the severity and the integrity of what you have, no idea is new. But what you want to do may be unique. It is important that you have that discussion that covers or gives you some clauses to actually cover yourself and give you comfort to share. So an NDA and CNDA is important. That's on the legal side. So that in case you share this with a potential investor and after a month or two you see him doing it and it's just exactly the same thing, can refer to the document and take some arbitration or take some litigation.
Are those challenges limited to only Africa or maybe in other parts of the world it happens?
The truth is that it's not new. People have stolen people's ideas.
Because the
people have taken ideas out of people's
those people understand partnerships more than we do.
I don't think they understand partnership more than we do. I think they commit to the risk more than we do. We understand partnership. We know it's going to be a win-win. But the risk commitment is what we don't have or what we don't do often. And I don't fault us. It has been the case that by the time you are a year or two, somebody wants out. My first business, we started a business where we're able to make some profit after 3 years. Right? My partner came one day and he says, hey, we need to stop working together. Right?
At the time the business is
nothing. So the lesson is that if there was an agreement, there will be a termination clause. And there will be an exit strategy.
That's it.
Right? But there was no agreement. So it was difficult to now agree. And since that time, he was a major contributor. He had a major asset. Or after we shared, actually had majority of the things we owed together. However, it was my skill, it was my management, my operational skills that allowed us grow. It was my connection, right? Which was like majority. And at the point we started making money, we were supposed to pay ourselves. I reinvested those monies into the business. But because there was no agreement, it was difficult to navigate through these things.
And I think that has been a challenge.
The legal aspect or the litigation aspect, or if you want, the agreement aspect is quite important. The other aspect is if you don't take a step,
You are not going to get anywhere.
You're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So why don't you take the step?
Okay.
A lot of us actually have been relenting on taking the step.
Okay.
We have not been confident enough. We have not been determined enough. We have nice ideas and we sleep on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that the confrontation should be, how do we get out of our comfort zones?
Okay.
How do we say, like Vusi Tembakayo, South African entrepreneur and business coach, he says that one, everything anybody learned, anybody is able to do now, he learned it.
Yeah.
So it's not different from you. You can learn it.
Yeah.
And two, the excuse is you. It's not any other person. It's you. Once you are confronted with an issue and you can actually turn around against it and work around it, you have shown some level of maturity and regard to what you're doing. But if you sit aloof, you don't expect anything.
Wow.
So I think that those are the angles we need to look at.
Okay.
We need to actually grow beyond the mindset and the horoscope of somebody will steal my idea.
Okay.
And I'm looking for all the money, I'm looking for all the resources. It's not going to work. Okay. Right? Okay. I actually had to resign from a company to come and start Take Connect Africa. I didn't know how I was going to churn out. Yeah. But trust me, I don't have everything, but until my accident, I was okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
All right. So we've been having a very nice conversation on the pitch here. Well, I'm going for a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of the support that entrepreneurs or young people can get from other places, stakeholders and the government institutions. You mentioned some before. I mean, I think last week. We're out of here and we'll be back after this break. A key concern for entrepreneurs is ensuring there is sufficient inflow of cash, especially at the early stage of their business, where there is low sales revenue. Investors in this regard have become the only point of contact. However, investors do not just put in money in businesses. They do so based on a tall list of considerations. My name is Ernest Dauni, and I welcome you to The Pitch, where we discover and connect smart business ideas with investors and markets. The Pitch shows this and every Wednesday on Truth TV at 8 p.m. Thank you. All right, so you're welcome back to the pitch. If you want to sponsor this program, you can just call 02473983331. In fact, the number is on the screen. Take it up and then call us to put some support to entrepreneurship, youth capacity building, creativity, innovation, and all of that. I've been engaging Mr. Emmanuel Larbi, and right now I want us to talk about doing business in Ghana again, and then some support that startups can get from institutions, stakeholders, or maybe the government.
Right. So I think that we need to give credit to some international organizations. Okay. They have not paid me for this, but it's important we know that there are organizations which are helping. Okay. They are helping on the public front and on the private front. Okay. The Mastercard Foundation, right? Yeah. The Young African Works, the GIZ. You get these people, this UNDP. Sure. There are a lot of international organizations doing very, very good work with support. Okay. There is also government systems, which you may actually argue on its fairness, but they also existed.
NEIP, and now the
USTAT, the business resource centers.
Yes, I mean the USTAT was. I mean, Dr. Baumia mentioned that about 50,000 young people.
Exactly. So I've seen all those things. I think that in the immediate, the support should start from home. Charity should begin from home. Okay. So your immediate family should be your support.
I have a problem with that.
Well, it should be. It's expected to be. It's not like they should it should or they must be.
Yeah.
If you have a family that's supporting,
so choose your words very well.
Exactly. So I'm saying should be. They are expected to be.
Yeah.
It's not a must because how they got their money and their skill sets and their resources, it's not through you.
Yeah.
So as a business
it's not
man or a young entrepreneur, a startup, cannot just go and say I'm a family member, so now I need 10,000. No,
you don't get it.
But I think that we can actually take advantage of two main things of starting ourselves.
Okay.
And bringing a lot of people on board. I think we have discussed enormously on that.
I want you to stretch on that because that's the most important thing. I want my young colleagues and my colleagues to know that it is possible to start a business even without anything.
Exactly. So there is a Facebook group called Micro Mentor.
Yeah.
And their business model is basically helping people with connecting them to consultants.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I have spoken to about two.
And the PT2 is one platform to connect entrepreneurs to
awesome. Right. Yeah. So there are consultants who work on some level of free basis, depending on the involvement. For me particularly, once I see a problem, I know what I should charge for and what I shouldn't charge for. Okay. And it's a principle because I get fulfilled when I'm able to help somebody start up something. Yeah. If you start making some money and I see and I think you need to pay me, I also request for that. Yeah. Connectivity is another thing. Yeah. For example, there are professional networks like LinkedIn that throws away a lot of professional information. Yeah. But how many of the young people are on there?
We'll take advantage of that.
And those who come there, they use it like if they're using TikTok
and Facebook.
They are sharing pictures of themselves. There are a lot of things. Serious nugget on there. Connect with as many people as are necessary for you. Okay. Learn from these people because the people who actually have reached their toppest ladder. Yeah. And they just want to share. They want to share nuggets. They want to share principles you can actually abide with. Okay. So connecting with people is important. However, looking for grants, especially there are some grants which comes with consultations and standards. Okay. Just like the IMF. IMF is more like macro, big. Yeah. IMF will not only give you the money, they will get people on the ground to help you manage the economy. Okay. It's not as if we cannot do it, but once there's an external force, you are put on some kind of there is liability, and these are the ways to go, in my opinion. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think that external grants are very much the Mastercard Foundations, the GIZ. Let's look for other. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of hubs in Ghana. Angel investors. Recently, a young man, Annie Garnot, doing very, very good food processing on Ghana paste, right? He got, I think, 20 or 25,000 cities from Richard Nikwe, Angel Investments Group, quick credit owner. Quick credit. So the number of
I have engaged them before for the Startup and Funding Summit at the University of Ghana sometimes.
Exactly. So I think that we need to actually explore and take advantage of them. Okay. And I think my message is my message is that let's try and collaborate more. Okay. Let's try and collaborate more. Somebody has the land. They thought as factors of production, right? In economics. Right?
Yes.
Somebody has a land, somebody has a capital, somebody has a labor. Right? Yeah. And then it's good to put all these ones together. Okay. So collaboration is a way to go, especially if you don't have any help coming from anywhere. Yeah. I think that some of us are open. Yeah. As many people as watch this and would want to reach out for
you can share your contacts
and help with them. Yeah. We can do that. Okay. You can actually get me on 0244 783 244. Okay. And if you are not in Ghana, like most of my people will watch this from outside Ghana, you add a +233. Yeah. To it. 0244 783 244. Just try to be a bit
any social media handles.
Yes, Honorable Ecol. Honorable HON.EKOL on all social media platforms. Wow. But my full name, Emmanuel Larbi, is on LinkedIn and then Facebook. I'm sure we can pick it up.
Larbi. All right. Thank you very much for joining me on the show. And thank you also for watching. I'm calling for everybody and anyone who is willing to support this program. We need sponsors. We need people to, make this impact lives and businesses. Thank you, and then see you next week. Bye.